All right, welcome to our final session for our Premier Skill Builder for the summer. So we are just going to have some fun today with some creative edits that can really create impact. Um, these are just some of my favorite cool tricks. And the neat thing about these is you can kind of take the techniques or methods that I teach you and use it in different ways, play with it to really be creative. So we're going to look at how you jump video layers, look at different effects, how we control those, blend those together, and adding adjustment layers so we have one look over multiple pieces of video. So, you can use any clips you want for this. We had some previous clips that you can use today. I would recommend something with cool lights and action. So let's hop over to Premiere and get started. So I just have some clips brought down into my sequence. No mystery here, just like we have been doing. So I'm just going to expand those because we're mainly going to live in our timeline and looking at our program playback. So I want a little room for our effect controls too. So this first technique is what I call a ghosting technique. So this could be a really cool, maybe something you'd share on social or for impact or a little teaser video. So we're going to start by copying our first clip up to V2. So we'll just hold the Alt key and drag it. And so now we've jumped that copy up to that other video track. And we're kind of going to be using these together. So we're going to go into our effects panel. And it's going to think about it for a while. And I'm going to search for posterize. So I want this posterized time. We're just going to move this a little bit, made that a little too big. Gotta be able to see our clips here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to grab my posterized time and I'm just going to drag that on top of that top clip that we just copied up to V2. So you notice now we have some effect controls we can work with. So we're going to be working with first our frame rate. So this video clip was shot at 24 frames per second. So we're going to change that. We're going to change that to 6. So what I'm doing is altering the frame rate of the top clip. Then under my opacity, I'm going to change that to screen. So this is what blends the top clip and the bottom clip together. I can also lower the opacity. So let's just start at 60 and see how we like that. So I'm going to rotate through here. And if you see that little kind of duplication we get there, that is the frame rate and the blend change. You can keep changing that frame rate if you want. So we're going to change that to 4. And you can see that kind of flickering, ghosting effect that you get around that clip. That's what was created by that frame rate change. So really kind of a cool effect. And again, I call that my ghosting. So our next technique is a mosaic technique. And I love this for kind of action clips. You can use this as an effect. You can also use this as just to kind of create some background texture for maybe like an animation or something in After Effects. So I'm going to play this a little bit. And you can see we've got some colors, we've got some people dancing. So we're going to again start by selecting this clip, just alt dragging it right above to the other clip. And we're going to go into our effects and we're going to search for stylize. Oh, excuse me. It's under the stylized menu. We're searching for mosaic. All right, so there's under stylize our mosaic, and I'm just going to drag that right down here. Now it's looking a little crazy. By the way, mosaic is how if you need to block anyone's face out or you're doing something like that, you can do that. So over here, you can see we have horizontal and vertical blocks. These are these squares. So right now we have 10 across and 10 down. We're going to change that. So I can make either one of them larger. I'm going to make my horizontal blocks 1000, and then I'm going to do 3 vertical blocks. And this is the look we get. So you can see, let's just play it like that. We're picking up the colors in the movement. This could be a really cool intro or light leak type of effect on a video that you might use. Now we're going to blend. So we're going to blend again to screen, just in our opacity. And so then it creates the overlay. So you can see, we can still see the video in the background, but we've got this cool overlay of that mosaic pattern. So a fun trick there. I really like this for social. Maybe it's a piece of video that isn't that interesting, but you need to use it. This is a cool effect. Speaking of light leaks, that's what we're going to do on this one. So we're going to add a light leak video on top of this one. So I'm going to come over here. Remember, I had those light leak videos that we looked at in a previous session. And I think I'm going to use this one. I think this one will be kind of cool with that sun flare, and this shape will be interesting. So I'm just going to grab this, pop it right on here. And so clip timing is a little bit different, but that's okay. We can still work with this. With that top clip selected, I'm going to go up to my effect control, and I'm going to change my blend mode to hard light. And so you can see, I can now see that light leak effect through that clip. So this is an example of how you can kind of take these techniques and use them to combine different videos. This reminds me a lot of working with layers inside of Photoshop and compositing images. You're basically compositing video clips. And so our final technique is to create an overall look. So we have a couple of clips here. And you can see, I'll just play kind of this one. And we got this one. And so I want to kind of give them the same look, even though the colors are quite different. Let's say I wanted these together in film. I wanted to give them the same overall look. So I'm going to apply an adjustment layer. So to create an adjustment layer, I can create those from my project bin. So I'm just going to expand my bin so that you can see where I'm working. And I'm going to go to this new item icon just to the left of my trash can. And what I want to do, click that adjustment layer. It's going to be the same size as my clip. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see it brought in there. So I'm just going to drag it and drop it. This is just like any other clip. So that means I can extend it over both clips. So this is a cool trick to use. Like, let's say that you have all of your clips and you want them all to be black and white, or you want them all to have the same look. This is how you do that. So you don't have to repeat the same process with every single clip. Now, the asterisk on that is if your clips have really different lights or really different light sources, you may have to add them separately. Just because they look different. All right, so we're going to go into our Lumetri presets, and we're looking at our speed looks. So our speed looks are all kinds of different looks that you can do and all kinds of different effects. I kind of think of these as like, people are really familiar with like looks or things on Instagram. This is the same thing. So let's just add this one. And you can see how that color shifted. So now it's very blue. I'm just going to undo that. So you can experiment with these different looks to get whatever you might want in your clip. So let's do, this one's another cool one. So kind of a noir film look, but really look at that great contrast it brings in. Really cool. So you can add these. So let's add, this is going to be a real big change. We're going to add this gold change. So you can see how it's really popping that gold. Then I can blend that in. So if I want to reduce that effect, I can. And so you can see that change. That's actually a pretty cool technique with that black and white. So let's do that. So we've got that look, and let's say we're going to reduce the opacity 60%. So basically I've brought some of the color back, but it's not as bright as it was. So that is how you can apply an overall look. And since this is an adjustment layer, if I move this, my clips are unchanged. My clips still, all the changes were applied to my adjustment layer. So hopefully these techniques give you a few things you can experiment, play with, apply to different clips. I will go ahead and stop my share, and then we can go into Q&A and practice.